Hey, everybody, welcome to My Wave Podcast. Super excited to have you joining in on this episode. We'll be joining with Laura Walsh here in a moment, and I can't wait to hear her story about her wave. And before we do that, before we jump into her story, I do want to give a thanks to Copilot Studio. Billy, behind the scenes, is doing a great job. You can check him out. Follow him at Instagram at Copilot Studio. Today's episode is sponsored by Shredders Surf Camp. Shredders Surf Camp is at Wrightsville Beach. They do private lessons, small group, 4-day camp. And you can check them out if you're down here, Wrightsville Beach, this summer, want to try to surf. They start at age 7, go all the way up. And you can check them out at shredderssurf.com. So today we have Laura Walsh. Laura, how are you doing?
I'm great. How about you?
Good. I think you're a little upset at me, though.
Why's that?
Because I just got out of the water and you didn't.
Yes, I am. I didn't even know there were waves until you dropped that on me. So,
And then she pulls up the camera.
yes,
Yeah.
I missed it again.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Now, Surf Checks is the camera.
surf checks.
Yeah.
Yep.
With the X.
Right.
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 And then, so mine immediately comes up to Wrightsville Beach, south or to Crystal Pier.
Mine usually comes up to WB Live, and then I go to surf checks.
Oh,
I don't
do
know
you?
why. I've got a little routine.
Okay,
And then
okay.
and then I go north.
So you got a routine
Yes.
on your checking it out.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got apps and everything that you look at to see
Yep.
what the waves
Oh,
are
yeah.
doing.
Oh yeah, swell info, all the stuff, magic seaweed, whatever.
Now, how often do you check?
Not as often as I should.
Okay.
But
Obviously, because you missed.
yes,
this
today.
afternoon.
No, I used to check every single day and all the time, but now when I know I have something to do, I don't check because it'll just make the day take a turn
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the worse. So
It can, especially when
Yeah.
you know it's there and you can't get off, you can't get out, and you see everybody else on the camera. You know they put in the Mercer's
Yes.
view now, south side of Mercer's. That's really nice.
and that's usually where I surf down there a lot. So
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Now I was trying to think when I first met you. I want to say it was in the water.
it was, and in fact, my wave is the day I met you.
No way.
Yeah.
No
So,
way.
Yeah. Isn't that
That's-
crazy?
Wow.
That was the day. Yeah. It was a
That-
great day.
That is cool. That is cool. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
But Laura is currently the president of the Wrightsville Beach Longboard Association, which I joined a while back.
Yeah. It's been a while.
It has been. And for those of you listening that are part of the WBLA, we've got some news coming.
We're starting back.
Yes. So been gone since,
Oh.
February?
Yeah.
Was our last
yeah,
meeting?
Definitely.
And so getting back into it.
Hopefully in April. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do yet. Watch Facebook.
Yeah.
I'll send you notes. That
So,
kind of thing. So, yeah.
WBLA or is it Wrightsville Beach Longboard Association on Facebook?
It's WBLAsurf.org.
Okay. WBLAsurf.org. And what is WBLA do?
Okay.
What are they?
So they are a group of surfers that got together originally. Billy Curry is
Mhm.
one of the founding fathers. He watched as Buddy Pelletier in Atlanta Beach was suffering from cancer, and he watched all Buddy Pelletier's friends get together
Mhm.
and support him, bring him
Okay.
food, help pay his rent, and that kind of thing. And they decided to be a great thing for us to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I joined in a little bit later, but it's to help local surfers to do outreach. And our unofficial motto is 50% fun, 50% outreach.
There you go.
So
Very
that's what we
good.
try to do.
Yeah.
It's fun. And you're with your, kindred spirits.
There you go. Yes.
So,
Yes. I've enjoyed, in fact, in the session that I just had, Teresa
yes.
was that Teresa Kramer, and she was actually on the podcast, and she went out today. So hers is out there. It's called Jury Duty Monday, I believe. Or Jury Duty Wave. I don't remember exact, but it's Jury Duty.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a good one. I listened to it.
Did
so,
you?
yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. She was out, and then Dave.
Yeah.
Was it
Lemieux.
Boston
Yep,
Dave.
Boston Dave.
Yeah. His accent's awesome.
Yep, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
They're all good guys.
They
Yeah,
are.
so.
Yeah, all good guys and girls with the WBLA. So
Yeah, so come join us because it's a fun organization and we do good things, but we have a lot of fun.
yeah,
So.
yeah, they do the Pro-Am
Yes, got a date, October 16th coming up. Pro-Am. Hopefully everything will keep moving forward, but we'll
Yeah.
have more information on that. We just secured the date. So,
Sweet.
yeah.
Sweet. That's at Wrightsville Beach.
It's at Wrightsville Beach. It's usually right off Oceanic Street,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a great, fun day, all day long family.
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
good. You know, we have a hospitality tent, which is something sort of different from some contest, and
Yeah.
we provide food and drink, and just come on up and hang out.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times. So more information on that, check it out on the website and on Facebook. And
Yeah,
well, cool. So your wave,
my wave.
the one that you would want to relive, re-ride.
Okay, well, I have several. First
Several.
of all, yes.
Okay.
But in thinking about this, I went back and kept going to July 5th, 2014,
Okay.
which was Hurricane Arthur.
All right.
Hurricane Arthur. Yeah, and it was a day, it was just firing all day.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Paddled out. All my friends were in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Checker flag, so there was no
Right.
surf zones. Beautiful waves, beautiful weather, warm.
Mm-hmm.
Just great all day long. Fired. We surfed about 4 or 5 hours. Toasted. I went home, took a shower, sitting on my bed, combing my hair, and Biscuit Bill called and said, "You got to get down here now. You got to get down here now." I'm like, "I am done. I'm tapped out. I can't. I couldn't even move my arms."
Right.
And he said, "No, get down here. Get down here. Really?" I'm like, "No, I'm done. I'm done." He's like, "Get down here." And so I went, "Okay, well, that's pretty serious." He lives on the beach,
Okay.
so he had a direct.
Yes.
So it was this. It was the end of the day. I called my other friend Stan and said, "Let's go. We got to go." He's like, "No, May." Same kind of
He was
thing.
done too,
He was
huh?
done too. We went out, walked over the dunes, and it was huge. It was well overhead,
All right.
fat,
Uh-huh.
which I like because I'm a longboarder. It was
Right.
fat, but
So-
not.
Hold on. One of the aspects of this podcast
Yes.
is I want to be able to teach
Okay.
that people listening, maybe new to the sport, or maybe they're not surfers, but they want to listen in.
Right.
You said the wave was fat.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So it means for a longboard, which you have to get that big thing down the wave. It's just got a lot of surface area.
Okay.
It's not real pitchy and doesn't throw out like
Okay.
so.
So a wave that is fat
Mm-hmm.
is going to crumble more, right?
Right.
I mean, it may begin to pitch as it gets into more
Right,
shallow
right.
water, but it starts. It's a more gentle slope.
It is.
Okay.
I mean, there's definitely a good slope, and the bigger the wave, the better the slope.
Yes.
So
Yeah, and we've talked on this podcast about swell period, and typically with a
Yeah.
hurricane, you're going to have a longer swell period.
yes.
And for East Coast, when you get up to 13, 14, 15, 16 seconds, that's a fun.
Yeah, and
wave.
it was easily that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no issue paddling out, which I, sometimes do. So, we watched it. I remember paddling out, and the waves were huge. They were nice, and I think I started talking to you in the water
Oh yeah.
because I remember admiring your surfboard.
Was it my longboard?
It was your your East Coast or it was your rainbow colored one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Savage.
Savage, yeah, yeah. And so we started talking to you then,
Okay.
and so it's
Wow.
and then it just kind of, but that was a great day for me. I don't know what it was. Every just having all my friends out, and
Yeah.
then coming back for the little dessert at the end of the day.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
you pretty much had every wave to yourself.
Yeah.
There were not many people out at that point.
Right. Everybody was tired.
Oh yeah.
And on days like that, everybody spreads out really well.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So it's not as packed
Right.
as it can be at certain places up and down Wrightsville Beach.
And I want to say that Drew was out with you.
Probably Zach.
Zach. Okay.
What year did you say it was?
2014.
14. Yeah, that was probably Zach.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, I know. I think one of your children were. So.
Yeah, probably Zach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Was that a weekend? Or
I think it was a Saturday.
okay, because you're talking about an all-day session. Either you
Yes.
skipped work,
No.
or, so it must have been a Saturday.
Yeah,
or,
it was
or,
a Saturday for
or
sure.
a Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But it was, it was for some reason everything aligned. Nobody, everybody in the water there was a lot of aloha out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone was kind, and people were letting people go, and there wasn't any paddling around. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was
Now-
just real chill.
Aloha.
Yes.
We're not in Hawaii,
No.
but what is that? Aloha.
It's that like feel good.
Yeah.
The love, the spirit of surfing.
Spirit of surfing, the
Spirit of
aloha
surfing, yes,
spirit.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of hooting and hollering
Yeah.
and cheering your friends on and calling them into waves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And incidentally, that day earlier, before I met you, I had got my first barrel.
No way.
It was an accident.
It was an
It was an
accident.
accident. I hate to admit that, but it was.
Mark, just this afternoon, Mark
Yeah,
paddled back.
yeah.
He's like, I got my first barrel.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I went, did that just happen? I mean, I think I got up and was sort of down low, crouched,
Right.
and it just started, crumbling over or curling over, I guess. And when I went out, I went, oh my gosh, I think I just got a barrel. And Scott Taylor and another girl that's no longer with us were on the beach, and thank goodness they saw me. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you kinda-
Legitimized it.
yes. They were like, you just got a barrel. I was like, I did.
Oh,
So that was a cool day.
that's
yeah, it was
awesome.
a good day. Yeah.
Very good day. Now, before we jump back into this
Yes.
one wave,
Yes.
when did you start surfing?
When I was 16
Okay.
in high school here, I grew up here.
You grew up here.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Hoggard,
Hoggard. All right.
bought a friend's 6-foot natural art,
Okay.
single fin, taught myself, so I messed up a lot. I mean, I've got tumbled a lot. I think surf camp or lessons is a great way to go
Yeah. Yeah.
because I have learned the hard way.
Well, that's good. So,
Yeah.
if you were to pass some advice on to someone starting, what would it be?
Just practice. You got to get out there, all
Get out.
conditions. Yeah, get out.
Yeah.
This says someone that didn't get to go today. So, no, yeah, get out. Just sort of know the safety. I think that's the most important.
Yeah.
Know to cage your head and
Those basics, those safety
Yep,
tips.
Yep, they're
Yep.
huge.
Absolutely.
Did not know those.
Yeah.
So
Took a
learned
couple on the
them.
head.
Yeah. Yes, I have. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So let's go to Arthur,
Mhm.
Hurricane Arthur. This would be, you had your barrel earlier, and now this is the icing on the cake
Right. End of the
evening
day.
session. Yeah, you're worn out, but you're paddling back out.
Yes.
Yeah, and friends are out there. Aloha's high. What did this wave? Did you see it coming? Did they call you in? Did friends call you into it? What did you see coming up?
Well, that day it was every wave.
Mm.
I mean, I've had other days where I had one wave.
Okay.
But that day was just the whole day. There was a giant wave of greatness. So
Yes.
I don't know. I did have another day that was at North of Mercer's again, where I usually surf, and it was one of those days that it was huge. It was one of those outside waves,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought we'll go for it,
Yeah.
and I went for it and made it, thank goodness, and just everything sort of stopped.
Yes.
Just heard a whoosh, and it seemed to slow motion.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah. That was a couple
That
days.
was probably the best day, but
Was that same hurricane swell? Or,
yeah, I think it was
Okay.
hurricane swell. 'Cause
Yeah. And that's the nice thing about hurricane swells, especially when they stay off the coast and they go slow,
yes,
is we get days of
great,
good
yes,
stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
at the end of 4 or 5 days, you're ready to just
Yeah. Go back to
go
work.
back to work. Yes,
Yeah. Somebody told me on a day that it's really good, stoke is high and productivity is low.
oh yeah, it's true. It's so true.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you work in a career where you can kind of sneak away?
No,
No.
but right now I am not working, so
Okay.
I can sneak away right now. So,
Gotcha.
but yeah, so when
All
I, when I
right.
can, yeah.
Yep. So you're looking to work?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back one day.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
COVID sort of messed things up, but
Yeah.
it's all good. Yeah. So, but I will tell you, when I was pregnant with my daughter, and the doctor said I could not.
Uh-huh.
I'm laughing about our earlier conversation about checking the waves. I would sit in front of my computer and check the waves every day. My doctor said you cannot surf being pregnant, and plus I was an older mother, and so I would sit there and I'd cry every day.
Oh no.
My husband's like, "What are you doing? Just quit." So, and that's why I don't check it if I can't go.
Yeah, there you go. That's wise. There's wisdom there.
Yeah, well,
There's wisdom there. All right, so you paddled out,
Mm-hmm.
and it was one of many
yes.
beautiful, great waves. But what set this one apart?
I don't know. I think just sort of the way it made me feel. Time just, like I said, sort of seemed to stop.
Okay,
It was almost like a slow motion. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
I've never had that with another wave before.
right.
But
So it's coming in. You're turning,
Mhm.
paddling for it. Easy takeoff because it was mushy. It was fat on the takeoff.
yeah, it was pretty fat.
All right, and you're riding what? What are you riding?
Then I was trying to think if it's the same board. Probably what I've been running, 9.4 East Coast,
Okay.
single fin.
Yeah. East Coast, somebody around here made that, right?
Sean O'Donnell,
There you
yeah.
go.
He does Savage.
He does
surfboards.
Savage, East Coast. Used to
that's
have
the
his
thing,
own
yeah.
label, Sod.
That's right, Sod, yeah.
Yeah.
Run mostly, I think my last few boards have been his, and I've loved them.
Uh-huh.
And I've now kind of got one that I think is perfect.
Okay.
It's a tank. It is a tank. I mean, it's not for a pitchy day. It's a tank. It's a glider.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Nice.
So,
What
yeah.
size is that?
9.4, and it weighs about 20 pounds. It's got a 8-ounce Volan cloth on it, so it's kind of an old school.
Okay.
And it's like it's shaped sort of like a Bing. I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, it's I love it.
Single fin, or you got side
Single
bites?
fin.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Very good. Very good. So what made this wave special was dropped in, took a bottom turn, set it up,
And just went.
and just went.
It went.
And it just kept going.
Yeah, just kept going. And like I said, time sort of stood still, and it was just one of those that struck me as being an interesting wave.
Yeah. What is it though that makes you want to go back out and get another one of those?
You know, I've thought about that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it is, you know, you've got that peaceful, you know, time you can contemplate things and or just out in nature and just enjoying it. And then you've got that little moment of adrenaline,
Yeah.
you know, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So it's that adrenaline that can be harnessed because you're putting yourself in a precarious situation.
Sure, yeah.
You know, anybody that's been to the beach has tried to play in the waves knows that there's tremendous power
Right.
behind even a little waist-high shore pound.
Right.
You know, I mean, one of the things we enjoy most is watching a couple of Instagram, you know, kook slams and kook of the day, and you see people standing there on the beach just getting wiped out.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's tremendous
Yes,
power there.
there is, yep.
And so to put yourself in the place where that wave is literally coming down on you, but you're just ahead of it.
Right.
Are you an adrenaline junkie?
I think a little bit.
Yeah.
I never knew that about myself until I started surfing. But yeah, I mean, definitely. I tell my daughter that the best days I ever have are when I'm a little bit scared. You know, when I've like pushed myself a little bit further and gone, I'm just gonna go for it. And
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely.
Well, and that's something that has come up a couple times in the podcast is this aspect of fear. You know, there is a fear factor.
Oh, absolutely.
And I wouldn't say I'm an adrenaline junkie, because I've been held down, I've been beat up, so I understand it. But it's like we go because we're putting ourselves in a place that not too many people get to go.
Right.
And when time stands still, like on your wave, and you're just going down the line, just cruising, there's nothing that kind of, I mean, is there any parallel on land that you can think of to that sensation?
Not really. I mean, it's you know, I compare it to like a treasure hunt
Okay.
a little bit. I mean, I told you we hunt fossils.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of that kind of digging and waiting and doing the work, and then all of a sudden you find one, and you get that little rush, and it's sort of like that little rush you get. So, but not really the same.
Yeah. No.
Sort of.
No, I get it, and it's neat that you bring up the fossils. I can't remember which hurricane it was, but they opened the beach back up, and my son and I went out, and we bumped into you and your daughter.
Oh yeah.
And
That's right.
I'd found a shark tooth, and showed your daughter. She was like, "Oh, that's great white."
Yeah.
And she like knew her shark
Yeah,
teeth.
she's good at that.
Yeah, but it was once you find that first shark tooth, the rest of them come easier.
Right. You start looking. Your eyes get used to looking for it. Probably a lot like the waves.
Yeah, and you know, like today I paddled out. I was like, all right, I need to just get my first one. I just need to drop in on my first one. That's every session is like that first wave. Let me get it out of my system. Let me get
That's
that.
funny.
You know, take a beating or do great on it or whatever. You know.
See, that's where we differ a little bit because, and I think that mine's just probably because I've gotten pounded so many times that I now will paddle out, especially on a bigger day, and I'll watch, and I'll go, okay, is that wave going to pitch me out, or do I maybe look for shoulders instead of just going for the biggest one.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
usually watch for a little while.
I think that comes with
Yeah.
with age and wisdom, because we have taken those poundings.
Oh, yeah.
And like I'll watch guys that are new, and I'll go, oh, why did he go right? It was closed on. I mean, the peak was to the right of him.
Right.
Why didn't he go left? And it maybe he just hasn't got to that point where, wait, I could ride longer going left, and so he's not learned to read the wave
Exactly.
as well, and he's not taking those opportunities maybe to learn or
Right.
whatever. Yeah,
And
and
I always like surfing with people that are a lot better than I am, just
Mm.
because I do learn by watching them. You know,
Mhm.
I'm kind of like, why did he go that way? Why is he standing on? I think it's a good just go off a little tangent there. But yeah,
no, yeah.
yeah,
Speaking of standing, which way do you surf?
I'm a goofy.
Goofies, yes. Goofies rule.
And I find out most of my best waves are backside.
Yeah.
Yep. So I
wonder
don't know
why.
I don't know.
Was that one that you just talked about? It was a backside.
Backside, yes.
Was it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
I don't know if where I go, it just mostly breaks that way.
I don't
But
know.
anyway, it's cool. But I do actually have a cool story for you.
Okay, go for it.
So my friend Stan made me this huge D-shaped nose rider type fin,
Okay.
and I excuse me, I put it on my board and I rode it a few times, and it's different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a big clunky fin, and I was out there one day and my board started skidding, and for some reason it had rattled itself out.
Oh no.
I don't know. Yeah, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy spent so much time looking for making this fin for me, custom made. I was so upset.
Oh man.
And then the next day I went back and I was like, oh my gosh,
It came out.
it came all the way
So
out.
it was gone.
It was gone.
Because the other day I was surfing and my board flipped over and my fin was like this,
Yeah.
but it was still the little leverage piece that you put
Yeah.
in, the anchor piece. But it was so it was gone.
It was gone. I mean, it's like a rudder. It's huge.
Yeah.
And so I'm so upset because, he spent all this time making me this
Yeah.
great fin. The next day I go back, walk out, I'm surfing the same spot and go, please God, let me find this fin. And I look down.
No.
It was by my foot
In the water.
in the water. Isn't that crazy?
How deep?
Waist deep.
No way.
I mean, I think that's
The
crazy.
next day?
Yes, the next day.
Get out of here.
Now, I thought that would be a good one to share with you though, because
Wow. That's nuts.
I just put it in. And I was like up, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Was Stan with you then?
Uh-huh.
When you found it?
Yeah, everybody's jaw dropped,
Unbelievable.
and he was with me when I lost it too. So
He was with you when you lost it.
yes,
Oh, did he
Couldn't
talk
fake
to you?
that one,
Did
yeah.
he talk to you the rest of the
he
day?
did because he's a good guy. But yeah,
Oh
and
man.
I thought that was kind of cool though.
Yeah, it
That was
is.
a cool story. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah. It's interesting, you brought it up, but God does care about those little things in our
yeah,
lives.
absolutely.
Like there's nothing too big or too small in our lives that's going on that,
Right.
he's not interested in. And that's a great story.
Well, if you're ever wondering about whether prayers are answered, yes, they were.
Right on.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
So.
Very good. So if you grew up around here, how would you say the growth of surfing, and particularly girls and surfing, how have you seen progression and change?
It has exploded. When I was 16, 17, I was surfing ESA on a shortboard.
Mm-hmm.
And
What's ESA?
Eastern Surfing Association.
Okay, so it's
Doing the
competitive.
contest, yes,
competitive surf.
Yeah, to do the contest, you're a member of ESA, and we would surf Wrightsville Beach, Carolina Beach, and I generally surfed against boys my age.
Really?
Yeah, there were a few women that surfed, but I was younger, so I used it. So I competed against boys or guys for the first couple of years,
Yeah.
and then I left for some reason to know that I had to come back, and came back and was with my daughter on the beach. Or no, I'm sorry, my nephews on the beach, and they were like, well, get a board. I'm like, oh no, I'm too old. And they said, go ahead and start, get one. And so I did, and I started back, and my head just went like that. I can't remember what I was talking about.
Girls and
Girls,
surfing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I paddled out, and I was amazed. Every year there are more and more women. I mean, there are days that I'll go out in the morning, and there are as many women, if not more, than men.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. And do you think that's Wrightsville Beach only?
I don't think
Or-
so.
Because I've not traveled the world
Yeah.
and surfed, but I've been a few places, And I do find that Wrightsville Beach has a large population of girl surfers. And the cool thing is some of them rip.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I just want to, okay, you can have that wave.
Yeah, right. I do that a lot too. No,
Yeah.
no, yeah, for sure. It's cool. And what's interesting is being an older surfer, female. A lot of my friends have started late. I did start early, but they started in their 40s, 50s, and female friends. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're out there and you're listening and you
Yeah.
want to give it a try, never too late. Never too late to give
Take
it
a
a try.
lesson. Take a lesson.
Take a lesson, definitely.
Will shorten your learning curve for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Now there's several surf camps at Wrightsville Beach
Right.
to choose from. Our sponsor, Shredder Surf Camp, is one of them. But
And
there
that's where I would go.
well, thank
had
you.
I to take a lesson, then yes.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, that's awesome to see. Because I've been out to California and didn't see as many female surfers in the water.
Really.
Yeah. And it could have been just the breaks that I was going
Right.
to weren't, wasn't San Clemente and Trestles. Maybe there's more there than,
Yeah, I
But-
don't know.
but every time I paddle out Wrightsville Beach, you're right. There's several
Yeah.
girls,
always.
ladies in the water and they're charging.
Right.
And it's so cool.
It is cool. It's
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a special little thing. Surfing. I mean, you got your own. They're your people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's cool to see kind of equalize a little bit.
You've got a little surf tribe.
Yeah. I've got some people I surf with.
Yeah.
Two consistently, and the rest we all go to the same break usually and meet them out there. And
Yeah.
so yeah.
Sweet.
Yes.
Well, sweet. Well, there you have it.
All right.
A simple wave. Time stood still on that
It
wave.
did. Time stood still.
Yeah. And in our day and age where time just flies, it's good to have those moments just to
Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when we first mentioned this, you shared that sometimes when life gets stressful, that's your quiet place.
Right. Yes. There are many times that I have to go to that wave in my head,
Yeah.
or at one of the waves. I've got several, but I'll just go, okay, channel that feeling you had when you were taking off on that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Putting yourself between fear and failure
right.
and finishing out something that was so sweet.
Right.
so long.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, good deal.
Yeah.
Anything that you would want to share with someone up and coming?
Oh, keep at it.
Keep at it.
Yeah, keep at it. It's. I mean, I have actually taught a lot of people to surf.
Okay.
And I've watched them, especially my nephews, and I've watched them, out there just getting pounded. And then I've seen their wave that's hooked them on surfing. When they finally figure out you have to go down the face
Right.
instead of going straight. And I'm like, that's the wave that did it for them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
been fun.
good.
Yeah.
And that's been kind of the fun part is hearing people as they've come on the show and they talk about their wave, the wave sometimes that just hooks them and creates that thirst in them
Right.
to get back out and do it. One young man in his interview, he could have talked about all kinds of waves. I mean, he's been to California, he's been to Puerto Rico, it was his first wave.
Right.
And it wasn't even a good wave.
Well, I was
know?
talking to Bill, my friend Bill, and tonight, and I said, or earlier today, and I said, he said, my best wave was my first one. It's the same thing. And I thought, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, that's the moment I got hooked.
That's
So,
sweet.
Yeah.
That's sweet. I can remember when I got hooked, but it wasn't my first or best. But yeah, I do relive a couple of waves.
Do
though.
you? And
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's good stuff.
It
Well,
is.
well, ladies and gentlemen, Laura Walsh
Thank you.
and her wave that made time stand still.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hey, before we close, we're always trying to wrap it up with this thought. Surfing, where did it originate?
Hawaii?
Hawaii, right? Do you think that there are other places possibly that it originated?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, that people were doing it.
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, did you know that surfing is recorded in the scriptures in the Bible?
no, I did not know that.
Yes.
That's
so
interesting.
in Acts chapter 27.
Acts chapter 27. I'll go.
Yeah. So there describes a shipwreck. Paul was sailing to Rome, and they came some heavy seas, and there was a shipwreck. There's tons of people on board. There's over 200 people or something like that on board, and the ship was broken up by the pounding out on the sandbar. And it says, everybody made it to shore safely. It said some were on pieces of the ship. And then it says others on boards.
Wow.
So, I mean, you can interpret it the way you want.
I'm interpreting that as I'm doing God's work by going out in that water. So,
Right. You know that of all those guys that made it ashore, there was a couple of them that were like, hey, let's go do that again.
that's really wild. I did not know that.
Yeah, Acts 27,
Yeah, that's cool. I'll have to go
verse
look that up.
44. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Have an awesome day.
All right. Thank you.
Peace.